In a city like Mumbai, where population density is very high and limited land is available for development, the only way forward is to go vertical. High rise development is what we need. This way, less land space will be used and towers will give the required social distancing. This is especially needed for slum redevelopment. More recreational spaces are needed to be provided within the building and complexes in order to restrict the people from going out. Hygiene and sanitation rules will have to be laid down for buildings, societies, with strict orders to implement and follow them.
Social distancing is also creating another effect, and that's the effect on design. We're looking now at how to do buildings differently, not only in the design of the buildings, but how they are built. A traditional building is built from ground up, taking a long time and requiring a lot of workers. But perhaps some of the new projects that we are really invested now into are projects that is an architecture created out of modular integrated construction. Small modules such as this, which utilizes a concrete water pipe, could create a mini micro housing for people to live in. And this entire house can be built off-site, carried to the site, installed on the site, and quickly made available for people to live.
The Western architectural and urban planning model has been unchanged for decades. Yes, this model is now facing criticism based on factors such as disobedience to the law, globalization, its constant expansion, and the pollution it creates.
We can now clearly see the rise of an urban exodus, which advocates for life in harmony with one's environment. More specifically, it aims to create a new sustainable and self-sufficient ecosystem based on local resources. Our new lifestyles have to break the pattern of the old world, the standard housing made for families. In fact, since our traditional model is disappearing, we are experiencing new type of homes, blending families, roommates, and etc.
Yes, these new dynamics have inspired us to design this project, Aula Modula. It's a flexible and lively place where living and working together is possible. The Aula Modula project brings back a natural environment to the city, promote new commonly shared space and social interaction between its residents. This project redefines the living spaces of housing and allow its residents to be creative. To do so, it provides workspace to each apartment. They are all facing a common courtyard and have a direct access to the collective terraces that promote interactions between residents and workers.
Nevertheless, although our project clearly promotes an evolutionary architectural aspect, we want it to be built simply. For instance, we have used low-tech design rules as a regular structure, a post beam system easy to assemble, the use of local materials. In addition, we injected various features, ensuring a good management of the resources and the available energies. Those include, but are not limited to, green spaces to promote biodiversity as well as the natural ventilation of the place, wastewater reuse for green roofs, responsible waste management, recovering thermal energy from the building to heat a sitting greenhouse.
Before the person enters the tower, the lobby itself, you get sanitized. So you pass through a screen first. If you have any kind of infection, you are just pulled aside. But even if you don't have infection, because so many times it is on the, you cannot detect it immediately. So you would pass through a screen and then you would get sprayed and you would get into the building. So as I was talking to a friend of mine in New York, and he expressed his concern and the way they were being treated in a tower which was 38 story. Every time they wanted to go up the elevator or come down the elevator, one person at a time is allowed, and that was the main concern. Every time they wanted to use the elevator, they wanted to go down and come back. It used to take them, almost a couple of hours of wait, and that is a very big issue. And I was thinking how we could, actually address this issue, or how we could retrofit the elevators so that we could, have more number of people traveling in the elevator at one instance. I was just thinking is, suppose we just take perspex sheets and we divide the elevator into 4 or 5 slots where in the same different independent, in one elevator we have 4 or 5 independent slots, and people can get in and they have their social distancing within the elevator. But then the other issue was, suppose if I get into the elevator and I have the virus, and when I leave the elevator, the next person coming in is always, there is a chance of he or she getting contaminated. So probably then we could have some sprays in the elevator whereby, after the person leaves, so that spray is, it automatically sprays into the cubicle, so it gets sanitized and the next person can come in.
Building designs will incorporate auto fumigation, sensors for entrances and exits, UV light, tunnels or sanitization booths. Now, on hygiene and sanitization norms, besides those prescribed by the government body, designers and MEP consultants will need to increase the ventilation for fresh air, have better lighting and heating, as these are all interrelated.